Hi friends again, it's Goshiack and I'm coming to you in this different circumstances that normally I'm on my college weekend in a different city that I actually live in, but there's so busy time I felt there is no other way to make another video. That's why I'm doing it from that place, and I'm conscious about light now in Ireland is getting dark quite soon, so I hope we're going to manage that. Also, my hair is a mess. I just came back from classes, but I'm not going to care about that, and I hope you will forgive me about my presentability if it's not to your standards, but it comes very much to it meets very very well the topic I'm going to talk about today, because I would like to talk about conformism. Conformism plays a huge part in our life, since we are part of the society, part of different type of groups. We are basically a victim of it. I don't like the word victim, but we comply very often to different type of standards and different type of norms, with which we often do not agree with, yet we act upon them. So what is conformism? Conformism is agreeing with certain type of behavioral norms that either group or a collective around us established and expects of their participants. So then individual, then a person has two choices: either comply with it or not to rebel, if you will, and therefore to feel accepted or to feel rejected by not complying to it. And I would like to investigate it a little bit, because it's very interesting also from the psychological point of view, which honestly we live every day by. There were especially two very interesting experiments made in 20th century of conformity, of conformism. One was by a gentleman called Milgram, that was investigating how far we can go with fulfilling someone else's orders, and although they might be totally against our own rules, our own norms, even if it might mean hurting other people. And the result, since you can investigate on your own. There are many materials. I'm not going to repeat that in here. In the result was that 2/3 of the participants really was able to act against their own value system, just to conform with authority, which explains some of the atrocities made during the war and times of oppression. And then we can ask, what is the time of oppression? Do we feel like we are in oppressive situation often? Do we conform then with something that we often do not agree with, not even knowing that we do? There is serious questions, really. Although it sounds crazy, it's good to reflect on it. Other experiment was experiment of Salman Ash, and he, of course, instigated situation in which there was one person subjected to experiment and a group of actors that supported this experiment, and there was basically a standard line showed, and the three of the different length, and participants were asked to find the one that will match the standard line. And obviously actors were tend to lead the person astray by saying that the answer is absolutely not the one that indicates the standard line. And the result was that over 1/3 of participants of that type of experiment tend to agree with this obviously wrong answer, just to comply, just to be accepted in the group. Scary, isn't it? And then you ask, do I behave like that? Sadly, I have to say that we all do, oftentimes. And that's why I just came up with this idea for this video, because by being aware of that mechanism, we might set ourselves free of it, of complying to something that might ultimately harm other people or us if we do. So let's investigate what type of factors make us more comply to sometimes ridiculous rules, orders, pressures. So obviously, situation in which we are tend to be persuaded to feel insufficient, to feel uninformed, insecure. So it makes us question our judgment. And then we will think, okay, maybe I just don't know it. Maybe I don't know the subject. Maybe I should actually trust others. Although there's something in our head saying, no, it's ultimately wrong. But we still do it. So feeling of insecurity. Otherwise, other factor is when you are a member of a group of more than 3 people and all of them agree, then you also feel, okay, that's only my opinion against others. So maybe I'm to be wrong. And the next one is when there is a feeling of admiration for the group. So either they are attractive in certain way, either physically, in terms of fame or status or monetary status. So you want to feel like a part of that team. That's why you don't want to come against what they are either claiming, behaving, requesting of you. And if you feel you're being watched, if you're feeling you're being evaluated, then you also your insecurity might sway you to follow different type of behavioral pattern that you normally would. And so also in the experiments of Ash, the milligram one, the decisive factor was the figure of authority that was telling you what to do. And so I would say another factor that we should be very wary of is an authority figure, whatever we perceive authority figure in our life, in our value system, in our environment, in our belief system, community. We should be aware that if we admire someone, if there is someone that we place them on a pedestal, or they are just simply authority figure for us, we're going to be very much tend to take on their opinions and follow their orders or their requests, simply to comply with their requests, behavior. And another very personal factor is a fear of being different. So if I am, for some reasons, I'm not going to go into self-analysis and therapy on a distance here, but if you feel you can be rejected, so if you feel uncertain, unworthy in any way, you will even more fight for that acceptance and take on other people's opinions and views much easier. So being different, being rejected, they are all very basic fears. Then if you don't sit well in your own personality, in your own life, in your own self-love, there is a great likability for you to be swayed by other people to comply with their own set of values or norms. And it will be very hard for you to stand your grounds, to keep with whatever behavior would be natural for you when you are feeling self-confident. So it's a very important thing to know. So and And of course, it all shows the huge need of approval. So again, if you don't feel strong enough in yourself, in your own yes, a self-worth, as I mentioned, that you will be fighting for approval. So these three things are very much connected: fear of rejection, fear of being different, and then fighting for approval. That all makes you very vulnerable towards people that will use conformism to sway you on their side, whether it would be politics, whether it would be a commercial, whether it would be some even evil friends or other groups that want your opinion for their own benefits. So they will make you feel insecure, they will make you feel uninformed, they will make you feel like you against the whole world. So to make you doubt whether your judgment is the right one. So please be aware of that. I'm not saying again what to do. I believe I'm talking to intelligent people, and we all strive to be better. And by being better, it doesn't necessarily mean that we'll change from one day to another. But I think the key factor for change, for improvement, is being aware of our flaws, being aware of our vulnerabilities, of what we don't know, of what we are afraid of. Because this is this type of dark side of ours that I mentioned previously on, that if used consciously can only improve our functioning, because it will make us aware of our strengths and weaknesses. But if we are not aware of that, others will be aware of them and they will use for their own benefits. So friends, please, let's be aware of the basics, because there are basic psychological rules. Yet I know that I would really think that this type of information should be in the evening news for to make everyone aware. Yet, of course, there are a lot of people that would like to keep us in the darkness of our own power. But I would say that group influence is very powerful. Power of conformism is very powerful. But you know what I think is more powerful? The power of individual choice due to the awareness. So I would like to leave you with that today. I really always try to listen to what you think, because it's really important to realize that it's not I'm not better than someone else is not better than me. We all have weaknesses, and I also have moments in which I see myself, I'm tempted to take someone else's opinion because I like to be accepted by them. But the moments, the spark of this awareness keeps me in a place that I want to be, so I don't get swayed by someone else. So I would really like to know if you've been aware of the type of moments in which your life can be transformed or your freedom can be diminished, but yet you take this power up again, and because you are aware of the danger and of the potential. And with this, I'd like to leave you today. I'm sending you all the best wishes, and I'm happy that I can again contact with you today. Have a great evening. Bye, friends.